Okay. Hi guys, how are you today?
I'm great. Thanks for asking.
How
Okay.
about you, Ilva?
I'm fine, thank you.
What do you do on the weekend, Ilva?
Lately I like uh, to read romance stories.
Oh, really? What
Yes.
kind of?
I read an interesting story entitled Antony and Cleopatra.
Wow, it was my first time heard the title. Can you retell the story?
Of course. Um, Cleopatra VII was the last pharaoh of ancient Egypt whose beauty become a legend. Not only beautiful, Cleopatra was also famous for being very smart and was able to master 9 languages until Julius Caesar made her his concubine. After Caesar's death, rumors spread that Cleopatra was also involved in Caesar's assassination. Therefore, Caesar's friend and successor to the Roman ruler, Mark Antony, invited Cleopatra to discuss the matter at his headquarters in Anatolia. However, Antony actually fell in love with Cleopatra and she invited him to spend the winter with her until they finally married in uh, 36 BC. This also puts Egypt in a very advantageous position. Antony and Cleopatra became quite formidable rulers and they fought Octavian, Antony's political opponent in Rome. However, Octavian, who still has blood relation with Caesar, didn't take it for granted. He also decided to fight against Antony and Cleopatra. However, Octavian's army was superior. Antony then joined the battlefield shortly after. Unfortunately, while at war, news broke that Cleopatra had committed suicide. Hearing the news, Antony then committed suicide using his own sword. But that's just a rumor. Actually, Cleopatra's alive. Um, After Antony took his last breath, mm, Cleopatra continued to struggle. She attempted to negotiate with Octavian. However, all hope was lost. Cleopatra decided to end her life with snake venom that she put in her chest.
Wow, that was so tragic story.
Yeah, that's right.
So, what is the purpose delivered by the author?
The author and the story is to convey a true love story and explain that true love requires the great struggle and sacrifice. The true love story between the Roman general Mark Antony and the ruler of ancient Egypt. Cleopatra is one of love that requires struggle and sacrifice.
Okay, anyway, what kinds of verbs mostly appear in this story?
I think verbs that mostly appear in this story are action verbs.
Mhm.
Can you give me an example of action verbs?
Here, the examples are the first one, Antony, then follow Cleopatra to Alexandra. Follow here as action verb. And then the second one, in the same year, Antony married another intelligent woman, Octavia, and married here as action verb.
Okay.
Okay, for the next, what kind of adjective mostly appear in the story?
I think the kinds of adjective mostly appeared in this story is possessive adjective. The example of possessive adjective is uh, flaunting her wealth by giving away all the furniture and jewelry, and then in her absence in Alexandria.
So, how about adverb. What kinds of adverb mostly appear in this story?
The types of adverb that most often appear in the story are adverb of manner and adverb of certainly. The example from this story is they end up traveling together again because of his military exploits and Antony's obligation to travel throughout the Mediterranean.
Okay, so for the tenses, what kind of tenses mostly appear in this story?
Mm. The types of tenses that most often appear in this story is the simple past tense, and the example from the story is Caesarion was killed. So, when we compare the number of imperative sentence, question sentence, and statement sentence, which appeared and which one less?
Among imperative sentences, question sentences, and statement sentences that mostly appear in this story are statement sentences. For examples, the first one, Mark Antony was the great general who was favored by Julius Caesar for his cheerful nature and high obsession. And the second one, in her absence in Alexandria, namely in 40 BC, Cleopatra gave birth to twins named Alexander Helios and Cleopatra Selene. So for the next, let's talk about language features. What kinds of language features mostly appear in this story?
I think the kinds of language features mostly appeared in this story is language techniques. There are several language techniques that appear in this story, including proper noun, pronoun, verb of action, predicative adjective, possessive adjective, proper adjective, participle adjective, descriptive adjective, adverb of time, and adverb of manner. The example of proper noun is Egypt became part of the Roman Empire, and then pronoun is he buried Cleopatra and Mark Antony in one place, and then for verb, Cleopatra and Mark Antony met 10 years before being in their prime, and then for uh, predicative adjective, Mark Antony is a great general, and then for possessive adjective is in her absence in Alexandria. For the proper adjective is Antony's obligation to travel throughout the Mediterranean, and then for participle adjective, he was living in the magnificent city of Tarsus, and then descriptive adjective is Mark Antony is a great general. And then for the adverb of time, Antony now meets Cleopatra, who is very strong. And the last adverb of manner, Cleopatra's arrival was arranged as dramatically as possible. I think that's all for the
I
language
see, I see.
features. Um, According to you, what are the message in the story that and what things can influence the readers?
In my opinion, the story of Mark Antony and Cleopatra is a beautiful but tragic one. The message contained in this story is that true love does require great struggle and sacrifice, as we can see that they feel unable of living without each other's presence. Therefore, when they hear the news that one of them has died, the other decides to commit suicide. However, in the end, they are buried in one grave and become eternal love.
Yeah,
That's
that's
all.
right. Yeah, that's right. But in this era, I think such a thing seems to me to be too much because we must not depend on others. When the people we love are left behind, we who are still alive must continue to struggle and live a good life.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this story is very interesting and we can know a lot of things through today's discussion.
Mm, yeah.
So, thank you for sharing this story. So now we know what the storyline is like.
Okay, my pleasure.
So let's we ended up our discussion today. Bye guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.